I often think that the world I live in is already hell. The skies are eternally draped in murky shades of gray, the sun a distant memory, its warmth replaced by the cold, oppressive weight of despair. The earth is a desolate wasteland, where the remnants of civilization rot beneath layers of filth and decay. The streets are no longer paths of promise, but treacherous veins of grime winding through the dying heart of a world that has long since forgotten the meaning of hope. The village where I was born, if you could call it that, is a place of perpetual twilight, where the air is thick with the stench of decay and the echoes of the past. It is a forsaken place, where the roads are lined with shattered dreams and the twisted remnants of life that clings to this cursed land. Old women, their faces as craggy as the stones they perch upon, sit atop the crumbling roofs, their eyes hollow, their hearts long turned to stone. They watch in silence as the grotesque creatures that now rule this world slither and crawl through the streets, their bodies a grotesque fusion of the monstrous and the absurd. One of the abominations, a colossal creature that defies reason, lumbers down the main street. It is a monstrous amalgamation of a worm and a hippopotamus, its grotesque form undulating through the filth with a sluggish, malevolent grace. The women on the roofs do not flinch. They have seen far worse. They know that in this world, horror is not the exception but the rule. In the distance, the sound of creaking wood and the strained grunts of beasts echo through the air. A caravan of misery approaches, pulled by twisted mutants, their forms barely recognizable as once having been human or animal. They drag a dilapidated cart through the muck, upon which sits a grotesque parody of nobility. A corpulent woman, draped in gaudy jewelry and feathers of every hue, her face a mask of cruel indulgence. She is the mistress of this land, her power symbolized by the chains that bind her wretched subjects to her will. The mutants groan under the weight of their burden, their suffering etched into every misshapen feature. Beyond the village, the landscape only grows darker, more twisted. The remnants of a once great civilization lie in ruins, wooden shacks and slums standing as silent witnesses to the fall of mankind. In this forsaken place, a massive worm, its body harnessed to an infernal contraption of wheels and gears, drags itself through the mire. Atop this behemoth sits a thin, ancient woman, her eyes burning with a feverish light. Above her, the sky is filled with winged horrors, pterodactyls that have somehow survived the cataclysm, their screeches piercing the silence like a nightmare given form. But it is not the mutants or the grotesque creatures that haunt my nightmares. It is the cages, those dreadful prisons that line the roads, filled with children dressed in rags, their eyes devoid of innocence, their futures stolen by this wretched world. The cages sway with the rhythm of the earth's torment, the children within staring out at a world that has forsaken them. And then, there is the creature, the abomination that stalks the roads with a crown upon its misshapen head, a six-legged horror, its body a monstrous fusion of man, insect, and beast. It is followed by a retinue of nightmarish figures, riding on massive worms, their forms as twisted and corrupted as the land they traverse. This is the world I inhabit, a world where the lines between man and monster have blurred, where the very earth groans under the weight of its suffering. It is a world built on despair, ruled by the grotesque, and haunted by the remnants of what once was. And as I walk these cursed streets, I cannot help but wonder, how much longer before I too become one of them?